Hi, OJ. I have helped killed 8 young girls. I didn't tie the rope. I didn't mix the poison. I didn't even touch them. But I watched them die, one after the other, and I still said nothing. Their blood is on my hands, just as surely as if I had strangled them myself. You are going to think I'm mad when I tell you this. You are going to want to stop reading. But I beg you, read to the end. Because what I'm about to confess is still hunting and happening right now today, as I write these words. Girls are dying in Accra, and everyone knows why. But nobody will stop it. I own a provision shop in Makola Market. For 7 years, I've watched a woman in the kiosk across from mine sell death disguised as beauty. I've seen things that would make your blood freeze. I know her secrets. I've always known, and I've done nothing. This is my confession, not for forgiveness. I don't deserve that. But because maybe, just maybe, if I tell someone the full story, they might have the courage I never had. It was about 7 years ago when I first noticed her store. Beautiful like a goddess with skin that shone like shea butter in the sun. Her smile could make any man forget his own name. She sold beads, OJ, simple waist beads. But these weren't ordinary beads. The woman called them Sika beads, money beads. They glittered strangely, even in the shade of her wooden kiosk. When you touched them, they felt warm, like they had their own heartbeats. Girls whispered about their power at the salons, at the church, even at the chop bars. Wear these beads, they said, and men will empty their bank accounts for you. Even the stingiest men will become generous. I watched from my provisions shop across from hers. Every day, girls lined up. Some came in trotro from as far as Tema and Kaswa. She never begged anyone to buy. She would just smile and say softly, "Sister, this Sika beads will change your story." Her voice was like honey, OJ, pure honey. And she gave everyone the same instructions. Never remove it. Sleep with it. Bath with it. The beads must stay on you always. Nobody questions her. Nobody. The first victim I knew personally was a slim girl who used to sell oranges by the roadside near Circle. Her mother was struggling after her father died. She had dreams bigger than her circumstance. She wanted a soft life, the Range Rover, the trip to Dubai. One day, she walked into that woman's shop. When she came out, she was clutching those Sika beads to her chest, her eyes shining with hope like she had found salvation. OJ, within 3 weeks, everything changed for her. Big men started chasing her, businessmen from East Legon, politicians, even a Nigerian man who owned a supermarket chain. One bought her a Benz, another rented her a 2-bedroom apartment in Spintex. She abandoned her orange table and started living like a slave queen. Her friends were dying of envy. They couldn't understand how this girl, who used to beg for trotro fare, was now cruising in V8 and wearing Brazilian hairs. It must be the beads, they whispered, watching the glittering waist beads that she never removed, even when bathing at the public bathhouse. More girls rushed to the shop, their voices desperate with want. But OJ, what nobody saw was what the bead seller did at night. I know because one evening I forgot the keys at my shop and had to go back around midnight. That's when I saw her. She was carrying something wrapped in a red cloth into a back room behind her kiosk. Through a crack in the wall, I saw it. A black clay pot filled with foul-smelling water and bones. OJ, human bones. She knelt before it, whispering names. The pot hissed back like it was alive, and her beauty seemed to glow brighter in that darkness. My blood ran cold. I ran home and couldn't sleep for days. But I said nothing. What proof do I have? Who would believe me? 5 years after buying these beads, the orange seller's luck changed. She started scratching her waist where the beads rested. The scratching became so bad that her skin peeled off, but the wounds wouldn't heal. Then black spots appeared all around her body, spreading like ink on white cloth. She went to Kolebu, to 37 military hospital, even to private clinics in Legon. The doctors give her drugs, injections, everything, but nothing worked. The beads that had once glowed beautifully had become like chains, tightening around her waist. She tried to cut them off with scissors, with knives. They wouldn't break. They clung to her skin as if it was nailed there. OJ, I will never forget her final words. Neighbors heard her screaming, "They are here. They are coming for me." But when people rushed into her room, nobody was there. She was alone, thrashing on the floor, clawing at her waist until it bled. One dark night, she gave up a scream that pierced the whole neighborhood. Then silence. When we broke down to her door, she was gone. The beads had cracked into pieces beside her body, oozing thick black liquid. Fear gripped all of us. But you know what shocked me the most? More girls still went to buy those cursed beads. Greed blinded them, and I still said nothing. The next girl had a boyfriend, a miser who wouldn't even buy her pure water on a hot day. She was tired of suffering beside him. When she heard about the first girl's former success, she didn't think twice. I tried to warn her, OJ. I swear I tried. But she laughed at me and said, "Auntie, you are just jealous that young girls are making money." She marched straight to the bead seller's kiosk. When those beads were tied around her waist, I swear her eyes glazed over like she had been hypnotized. From that day, her boyfriend changed completely. He became soft like kinky in her hands. He bought her iPhone 13, took her to KFC every weekend, and gave her money to start a boutique. People were shocked. 7 years passed. She was living well. Then one morning she woke up and her eyes felt heavy. By afternoon, her vision was blurred. Within 1 week, she could barely see. The doctors at Kolebu ran every test. They found nothing. It's stress, they said, but she knew better. She started having nightmares, shadows plucking at her eyes, laughing while she cried for help. One night, the whole compound heard her screaming. We found her crawling on the floor, scratching her face until it bled. "They are here. They are taking my eyes," she wailed. Right before our eyes, OJ, I swear on my mother's grave, her eyeballs turned red, then dull, then completely white. Within days, she was blind. She lived in darkness for 3 months, crying every single day. Then one evening, her body convulsed. She whispered the bead seller's name, and she died. Still, the bead seller shop thrived. Still, girls lined up. Still, I said nothing. Even university girls weren't spared. One girl from Legon, bright student studying business administration. She also fell into the trap while her friends were struggling with books and assignments. She wanted the soft life. During a holiday, she heard the whispers around the beach. She told herself she was too beautiful to suffer in poverty. On a Friday evening, she entered the cursed shop. Back at school, her life became a movie. Sugar daddies appeared from nowhere. MPs, CEOs, even a Burkinabe businessman. She had 5 men sponsoring her at once. She drove a Camry to campus. World designers lived in a plush hostel. But after 5 years of enjoyment, her stomach started swelling. At first, people thought she was pregnant, but the belly kept growing abnormally, like a drum. The pain was terrible. She could hardly walk. The doctors were confused. All tests showed negative. She became blind, just like the second girl, and died the same horrible death, calling the bead seller's name with her last breath. By now, everyone knew something was wrong. Mothers were weeping, fathers were angry. But the bead seller, she continued smiling in her shop, selling those kids beads. And girls, blinded by greed and envy, kept buying them. OJ, 3 more girls died after that, each one with the same story, each one with Sika beads wrapped around their waist, each one dying in agony, blind or diseased or swollen, calling out the invisible tormentors. People whispered, people suspected, but nobody did anything concrete. The bead seller was too beautiful, too charming, too powerful. She said she had connections with important people. Others said she had juju protecting her. A few brave souls tried to report her to the police, but somehow the cases never went anywhere. Files would disappear. Officers would be transferred. Witnesses would suddenly change their minds. The deaths became a dark rhythm in our community. Every few months, another girl, another funeral, another family destroyed. The bead seller's kiosk stood there in Makola Market, bright and busy, a beautiful trap catching desperate souls. I watched it all happen, OJ, from my shop across the way. I watched girls walk in with hope and walk out with death wrapped around their waists. I knew what was happening. I had seen the ritual room. I had seen the bones and the pots and the darkness, but I was afraid. Afraid of being labeled crazy. Afraid of the bead seller's power. Afraid of what might happen to me if I spoke. So I kept my mouth shut and my head down, and I watched the bodies pile up. The bead seller is still there. Her shop is still open. Girls still line up, still buy these cursed Sika beads, still dream of wealth and soft life. The deaths have slowed down. She's more careful now, spacing them out so people won't connect the dots so easily. But they still happen. Just last month, another girl died, skin crawling off her bones, screaming about shadows. Her waist beads were found shattered beside her body, oozing that same black liquid I've seen so many times before. And the bead seller, she is richer than ever. Her kiosk has expanded. She now has 2 assistants. She wears gold jewelry and drives a nice car. She smiles that same honey sweet smile and whispers that same deadly promises. Sisters, this Sika beads will change your story. This is your anonymous OJ, and if you are new here, I would like you to like, subscribe, share, comment, and hype this channel, and tell somebody about your anonymous OJ. I'll see you in our next confession.